Hello, Mr.Gobbo here. This is my first battle report ever. I don't know if I got it all right. This is maybe take number 1000. And yeah, it's also my first game of the Ninth Age ever. So today I'm playing against one of my good friends, Berghofer, who brings his 2000 point Beast Herd army, and I bring my 2000 point Cave Gobbo theme army. For deployment, we rolled classic deployment. I didn't have quite enough terrain pieces to follow those rules. And for secondary objectives, we got hold your ground, or hold the ground. And I don't really know what it does, because I don't really care. I just want to commit genocide. I'm going to go over his army really quick. He had a Beast Lord who had the Stalker ability, which means his ambushing units gets to re-roll the ambush roll if they fail. And he was the general. He had heavy armor, hand weapon, shield. He had a Bloodright Shaman level 3 with the Path of Nature, which I believe is the old Path of Life. He had a Wildhorn Chieftain, Battle Standard Bearer with heavy armor and shield. He had 30 Wildhorns in a herd with full command, light armor and shield. He had 10 Wildhorns in a herd with throwing weapons. I believe he used this as a bunker for his character. He had 25 mongrels in a herd with the ambushers, special rule, hand weapons and shields, 5 mongrel raiders with ambushers and short bows, 5 mongrel raiders with ambushers as well and short bows, 6 minotaurs, light armor and shields, 30 longhorns in a herd with great weapon, heavy armor, full command, and totem bearer. I think he forgot to use this during the whole game. 5 centaurs with ambushers, light armor, shield, and throwing weapons, and 5 ravagers, which I believe are the old harpies, and then the gorgon. And now for my army, the Orcs and Goblins army. I have my Cave Gobbo war boss, Mr.Gobbo, who's my general. He has the Armor of Destiny, as you can see. It gives a 4-up ward save, Crown Dominion. I have another Cave Gobbo war boss and a big Cave Gnasher with Plates of Lork, which gives +1 toughness and D3 impact hits. I have a Cave Goblin High Shaman level 3 with Power Mushrooms and Path of Shadows, Tome of Arcane Lore, which gives an extra spell, Talisman of Lesser Shielding, because a 6-up ward save is better than no ward save. A Cave Goblin Big Boss BSB with a Trinket of Save Stealing to some sneakiness, and Ban of Courage. I have Cave Goblin Shaman level 2 with Path of Little Green Gods and a Disciple Scroll. I have 50 Cave Goblin Runts with Mark of the Boss, Ban of Discipline, Short Bow, full command nets, 1 mat git. Another one with 50 Cave Goblin Runts, Short Bow, full command nets, 1 mat git. 2 15 Nasher Herd units, and 2 5 Nasher Dasher units. 2 Giants, Scrap Wagon, which has +1 Strength, giving it Strength 5, and Pursuit Mode, allowing it to reroll its random movement 3d6. Smells like green spirit, so it gets blurry and distracting as well. And the mandatory Nasher Wrecking Team. My opponent decided to deploy his whole army first, so he could get the first turn. And you can see his Beast Lord and Battle Standard Bearer in his Longhorn unit, and his Shaman in the 10 horn strong Wildhorn unit. And as you can see in this picture, this is how I deployed my army. Note that to the far left, I've placed my Cave Goblin Warboss on a giant Cave Gnasher, and to the Horde on the left, I put my Battle Standard Bearer, my General Mr.Gobbo Warboss, and my level 3 Shaman, and then my level 2 Shaman is in the Horde on the right. Now, for spells, I think my opponent, he got Healing Waters, Spirit of the Woods, and Dwellers in the Earth. My level 2, he got Path, with the Path of Little Green Gods, he got Evil Eye and Itching and Scratching. Then my level 3 with that extra magical item, he got Shadow Miasma, Glimpse of the End, and Devouring Darkness, and then Mind Razor. And turn 1 for my opponent. He starts out with moving his army up, closing in on the cave gobbos quickly. Not too much to see. Yeah, this is what it looks like. In the magic phase, he gets 7 power dice. I get 5 dispel dice. He casts the 5 up regen spell on his Wildhorn herd, like this. Gets it off. And then no shooting. So now it is Orcs and Goblins turn 1. Okay. I try and hold my formation like the coward I am. I only move my random movers because I have to. Yeah. So, and I made a huge mistake, which you will later see. For my magic phase, don't remember how many dice I got, but I managed to get the Little Green God signature spell off with 3d6 strength 3 hits. And 3 Wild Horns die. First blood. Yeah, ready to kill. No shooting because short bows and no war machines with my Cave Goblin fluff army. Now we get to no close combat, of course. Beast Herds turn 2. Oh, ambitious. Okay, 3 out of 4 units fail to enter the board, but with the reroll from that Beast Lord ability, they all enter the board. I made a mistake, because now you will see that the Nasher wrecking team is most certainly dead. Yeah, because he just enters with his raiders right next to it. Yes, dead. D-E-D. Well, at least I only had units with immune to psychology nearby. My opponent, he then moves his whole army again after he's deployed all his ambushes, you can see here. And the centaurs, and his mongrels. Yeah, that's what they're called. Good. And, of course, he steps on my wrecking team. Sad times, sad times. That was a good trade-off for him. Yeah, this is how he moves up, trying to close the gap between us as quickly as possible so he can get into close combat. I would like to prevent this because I want to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and then maybe go into close combat with him. Preferably not. Yeah. In his magic phase, he gets 12 power dice, I get 6 dispel dice. What can you do? It's only turn 2 though, so he can't get all the good spells off, but he still gets the 5 up regen on his Gorgon, and as you can see here, the Wild Horde herd, he gets a magic forest, so they have soft cover against my Cave Gobbo arrows. And there you have the Gorgon 5 up regen. In Orc and Goblin turn 2, I declare charge with my Black Giant. I apologize that I didn't have the time to paint him. I normally play with painted models, but I just wanted to try 2 giants. I had to, now that they're special units. And he's ready to rip and rend. I considered declaring a charge on the Minotaurs with my painted up giant, but they would probably kill him, and I needed him for possible flank support and combi charge with my Nasher herd, so I decided against it. I didn't want to lose him yet, but I saw the opportunity to move in with my random movement Cave Goblin Warboss into the flank of the Minotaurs, along with the upgraded Scrap Wagon. Oh, devious. There was a rather good chance of that happening with 3d6 rerollable. So I got my Cave Goblin Warboss into the flank just fine, but then I had to roll from my Scrap Wagon. I think I needed an 11 or 12. I only rolled 9 for my first roll, so good thing I got that upgrade with a steady, shambolic special rule, I thought. This is really important. Reroll time. But this happened. Yep. 666. Oh no. And then what happens? My shambolic unit takes D3 wounds, and it got 2 wounds, and then it goes in a random direction, and that was the opposite direction of where we're supposed to go. So it bumped off 1 inch off the table, but it managed to not get a wound through a dangerous terrain test. That would have been really bad because it's a chariot. Yeah. So now my cave goblin warboss is probably not going to make it. He got really shafted there. I silently hope that he goes out with a bang at least and kills maybe 1 or 2 minotaurs. But it was a semi-important failure. I gambled and lost with my scrap wagon. Too bad. But then my right dasher unit, it moved into the middle of the screen, as you can see. Middle of the board, as you can see. To screen off the Gorgon's charge, which would probably give me 1 extra turn of shooting. Maybe. Depends. Because then I could shoot on it this turn, and then if they stopped it and they died and it didn't run far enough, then I may be able to shoot again and then kill it. It should die. Definitely. And then my left dasher unit, it moves into the mongrels, as you can see here with my giant, and now they're gonna get killed. I hope. I want to kill those. Magic phase, I get 8 dice, he gets 5. And yeah, I get that pit of shades thing. What's it called? I don't remember what it's called. But I kill 5 of those longhorn models because it scatters a bit. So I'm pleased. Could be worse. And now my goblins, they go daka 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 and shoot with the short bows, and I give the Gorgon 3 wounds, so I'm pretty pleased with that. It has 6 wounds in total, so 3 down, 3 to go. I think I actually dealt it more wounds, but he regened it. Then my cave goblin warboss, he goes into the minotaurs in the close combat phase, and he has a D3 impact hits because of his armor. It's only at strength 4, but still impact hits. And then the big cave gnasher, it has D3 impact hits. And then my goblin, he has also a lance, which gives him strength 6 under the charge. And the cave gnasher has strength 6. So I have 7 strength 6 attacks, where 4 of them they hit on 3 up, and the other one hits on 4 up. And I deal 4 wounds. And then they give him 2 wounds back. They lose frenzy though, the minotaurs. And then they don't run away. And they do a combat reform. They have the leadership to do it. Because they're still steadfast. And yeah, now he's dead. Definitely. In my opponent's turn, this little warboss who got shafted by the scrap wagon will be gone. Now, in the other combat, my Gnasher Dashers, they overperformed. I killed a lot of those mongrels. But unfortunately, I only rolled 3 hits with the club swinging 2d6 hits from the giant. And the mongrels, they strike back. They inflict 2 wounds on the giant. Impressive, I think. And killing 2 Gnasher Dashers. If I had inflicted 3 more wounds, then the unit would have lost its steadfast and probably be gone now. But I didn't, and they rolled a 6 on their break tests, so they aren't going anywhere. Things are not looking too good. Oh, it's not that bleak yet, but it could have gone better. And yeah, as you can see here, rolled 6 on their break test. And now it is the Beast Herd's turn 3. Yep, this is what it looks like. Now my opponent, he decides to charge my my right, the Cave Goblin Horde, who has all my characters. Yep, let's see. All my characters except my my level 2 goblin, Cave Goblin Shaman. He's in the other horde. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but almost all your eggs. But I do make a stand and shoot attack, and I get really lucky, and I kill 2 of them. So that's good. That's a good start. He charges with his Gorgon, of course, against my Nasher Dashers standing in front of him. There's no way he's not going to make that charge. And then he charges with his Centaurs against my Nasher Dashers' buttholes, and they manage to roll a 10. And the Mongrel Raiders charge the flank of the giant as well, as you can see in this picture. So I'm not dead yet. I can still do this, I believe. He charges with his Longhorns against my Nasher herd, but he only rolls a 5, I believe. He's supposed to roll 7 or something, or 8. And then something really funny happens. His flying unit gets within 8 inches of my my Cave Goblin herd, and what happens is that I release my Madgets, 2 of them. The first one I aim at my own Nasher Dashers, and this is cunning tactics. So I hit my Nasher Dashers in the right angle. I go through them. I hit the Gorgon, and I go through that one, and I hit the Longhorns as well. So I end up killing 2 of my own Nasher Dashers. I think I gave 1 wound to the Gorgon. I inflicted 1 wound, I believe, and then I killed 2 Longhorns. So that's okay. Fine, no problem. Could be worse. And the second Madget, it was aimed at the Ravagers, but it doesn't hit them, so they continue flying over it and hitting my unit. But it's alright. It could be worse. And then his Gorgon, of course, it completes the charge against my Nasher Dashers. Then my opponent, he tried to make a swift reform with his bunker with his wizard, but he failed the leadership test, so he could only make a reform, and that's good for me because then he doesn't get within range of my units with some of his really good spells. He gets 10 dice, as you can see, and then he tries to put on the regen on the Gorgon again, and he gets it off, but look at that, 2 6s. What happens then? Dimensional Cascade. He's very content that he didn't use 4 dice for this, because then there was a 50% chance that his shaman would be gone. But he ends up killing 6 of his own. But he passes his leadership test, so he doesn't run away. And then again, the second spell he casts, he goes all in with the old. It was called Dwellers from Below. Was it called Dwellers Below Dwellers in the Earth or something? And he tries to cast my Cave Goblin character horde, and he rolls this incredible roll, and I just have to use my scroll reluctantly, but I have to use it because I don't want to lose 2 of my characters. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. He has no shooting, but in close combat he kills my Minotaur. No, not my Minotaur. My Cave Goblin Warboss. With I think they give him 3 wounds or something, and I wound them once. So great success. Not a very good trade-off. Then he kills my Nasher Dashers with his Gorgon with only impact hits. So he doesn't get to do a lethal strike on him and regain wounds. So that's okay. And he rolls a 5 in his overrun and doesn't quite reach my goblin horde. So I get to shoot him without penalties. Yay! And then this happens. Okay, my Nasher Dashers, they kill a whole lot of mongrels again, but they get killed by the centaurs, which is okay. But then 13 mongrels they attack without re-rolling to hit, inflicting 4 wounds on my giants. What happened? Okay, it's just one of those games, I believe. And over by the Ravagers, my Cave Goblin Warboss and the BSB, they make way, and with their superior initiative, they kill off the Ravagers before they get to strike, so he doesn't get to assassinate my Cave Goblin High Shaman. And yeah, this is what it looks like after that. And now it is my turn 3, or Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Yep. So, this is what it looks like. Looks dangerous. I'm slowly losing the flanks. But now I want to kill something. So I charge in with my giant and Nasher herd. They charge the Longhorn unit with the one that has the general and BSB. They both roll high enough to get there, so that's good. I was pretty lucky. And I'm not expecting to kill this unit, I'm just expecting to decimate it. So my goblins can deal with them later. Yeah, that's my expectation going into this combat. And my scrap wagon, he finally stops messing about. He goes full Commander Shepherd and hits the Minotaurs on what may be described as a suicide mission. Yeah, because he's not going to survive this. But maybe he can take down a Minotaur with his 2d6 strength 5 impact hits. Who knows? For the magic phase, I get 8 power dice. My opponent gets 6. So I don't get a single spell off because I only rolled 2s and 1s. I think I rolled a single 3 as well. That's not enough to cast most spells, unfortunately. Yeah, I just had to take this photo and see how dangerous this Gorgon looks. Yeah, he should cause terror. He doesn't even cause fear, if I read his rules correctly. That's kind of weird. That thing looks terrifying. I go full daka with my Goblin Horde with no penalties to shoot whatsoever. We're talking 49 arrows hitting on a 4-up, and then 1 hitting on a 3-up. Wounding on a 6. I get 2 wounds off. I believe he regens both of them. Yeah. Disappointing. I am disappointed. Yeah. Okay. That happens. And the other horde, Goblin Horde, it doesn't hit a thing because the Wildhorn herd, they are in a magical forest again. And then my Scrap Wagon, it deals... Yeah, here you can see, he regens the whole lot. My Scrap Wagon, it deals 4 wounds with impact hits, the same amount my Cave Goblin Warboss inflicted on his charge, and then dies. So, it's alright. It was enough to give the injured Minotaur the last wound and then kill another one. So now they at least lost one of their ranks, and that's good. Now they can't disrupt things. Goody. And yeah, in this combat, my Nasher herd, they kill quite a few Longhorns, but my poor giant, he rolls a 2. That gives him... It makes him jump up and down, I believe, and he has to take a dangerous terrain test. And I rolled a 1 on the amount of hits, so that was not too good. But I passed my dangerous terrain test, at least. So I managed to kill 10 Longhorns, but yeah, he destroyed a lot of my from my Nasher herd, and he gave my giant 3 wounds. Actually, I know it says 4 in the picture, but I'll explain in a moment. So my Nasher herd, they of course explode because yeah, that's what they do when they run away. They don't run, maybe they run in every direction. And they had one full rank left, so everything within 4 inches got 2 hits. So I hit the Gorgon, and it saved the 1 wound I gave it with his regen, his 5-up regen. It gave 1 wound on the giant, but no wounds on the Longhorns. So yeah, but my giant, he stayed because he's leadership 10 stubborn. He doesn't run away, but he's dead, most likely. Beast herds turn 4. Yeah, this is when I realized I made a giant mistake. I accidentally left the flank of my left goblin horde exposed through carelessness, and then I gave the unkillable Gorgon the opportunity to charge the horde in the flank. Whoops. That was not supposed to happen. This is not what was promised to me. My opponent moves around, teasing my left Nasher herd, playing hard to get, and I totally forgot hills they block line of sight, so I shouldn't have turned my my Nasher herd in my previous turn. That was just stupid. I should have just gone for the Wild Horn herd. In Magic, I got 6 Disciple dice, and he only got 7 power dice, so I think, yeah. But I don't think he got. I only think he got the 5-up regen on the Gorgon. I forgot to take a picture of this. I'm sorry, I was getting tired after a long day already. They shoot and kill 1 Nasher in my herd with their throwing weapons. Acceptable loss. My giant dies in close combat before getting to strike, of course. Where's the fall over rule, though? Huh? It would be nice if you just could fall over the unit and squash him. I missed that. That was fun. Yeah. But he's cheaper now, so yeah. And yeah, the Gorgon, it kills a lot of my goblins. If I recall correctly, it killed 10 to 11 goblins, and they remain steadfast and they don't run away. So, and the Gorgon, it made 1 lethal strike, so it regains 1 wound. So it's down to 3 again, I believe. In my turn 4, then I realized I must be getting tired, because I'm getting straight to moving maggots. Okay. 1 gets lucky moving through the Longhorns, killing 2. Nice. Positioning itself almost in front of him. Almost perfect. And then the other maggot also goes through the Wild Horde unit, getting in front of them. So that's good. Now it's blocking their charge. I'm content. I reform my Nasher herd yet again, because that's when I realized that the hill was blocking line of sight, so I could never charge the small units of mongrel raiders because I couldn't see them. So it's just better to, yeah, look at the centaurs. And then from the magic phase, I thought, okay, it's not going very well. Well, magic will save me. And this is what I roll. Get 3 dice, he gets 2. So I could get 1 spell off, maybe. I believe I get off the Devouring Darkness spell on my opponent's Wildhorn, Bunker, and Shaman, because I had so few models left that I may be able to kill them all. But it scatters off, and the 2 models, one of them being his Shaman, they pass their initiative tests, so nothing happens. Maybe I should have cast another spell, but yeah. Done is done. And now for shooting. I realize, why is it that my goblin unit can shoot? No! I forgot. I actually failed my stupidity test, I believe. I forgot to charge with my character Gobbo Bunker. Yeah. I just needed to get 2 wounds in with my characters, and then I would be free of that raging Gorgon. Yeah, I forgot. It has 4. Taken 4 wounds. Okay, the blurriness of this picture, I think it represents my feelings at that moment. So I decided to let off some steam and go Daka Daka on the Longhorns instead, killing 4 in close combat. After my, you can call it lapse in concentration, the Gorgon made 2 lethal strikes on my cave goblins, regaining 2 more wounds. Also, I failed a leadership 8 rerollable and was chased off the board, losing my horde and level 2 shaman. Ouch. My other horde, it passed its panic test though, so it's not all bad, but it's pretty bad. Whew. Yeah. Now it's the beast herds turn 5. For movement, he charges my remaining cave goblin horde with his beast lord. He charges out of his unit, and then I made a standard shoot reaction, and then I got lucky and actually wounding him on his, I believe he had a 1-up, 4-up save. So I was pretty lucky there. Impressive they couldn't wound the Gorgon, but they could wound him. Then we had he also charged with his Minotaurs, and they go for a flank charge on my Cave Goblin horde. Both units, they succeed, of course, evading the Madgit. So it looks like this. Then he moved his other units about, just teasing me, throwing axes and whatever he could do. Getting ready with the Gorgon to destroy my unit. I know this is pretty much it. I'm dead, but I always play to the last man, or till everyone's run away. They don't always die in close combat since they are goblins. Magic, he casts the 5+ regen on his Longhorn herd. There's no notable shooting, he doesn't inflict any wounds. And now it's Netta's time. Don't let me die, Cave Gobbos. And I roll a 1 in the Nettas, so I have -1 strength, just what I needed. For this crucial close combat. The Cave Gobbo champion, he's taking 1 for the team, as you can see. Challenging the Beast Lord and dying valiantly. Only taking 1 wound and then 2 overkill wounds. It could have been worse, he could have taken 4 wounds. The Minotaurs, they started chomping on my horde, killing around 10 goblins, and giving the BSB 1 wound. And then the brave Gobbos, they don't run away yet. So, that's what it looks like. I'm close to dying. In Orcs and Goblins turn 5, I'm desperate. I'm trying to charge the Wild herd with my Nasher herd, but I don't roll high enough. I think I had to roll an 8. Yeah, an 8 or 9, but of course I didn't do that. So I move 5 inches forward. Then my Madgit, he wasn't done killing things, and he plows through the Wild Horns and kills 3 more. So that's good. I think he's killed for more than 30 points now, so that was good. Yep. In Magic, I believe I get 8 power dice. And he got 4 dispel dice, but I only got the boosted glimpse of the end off on the Beast Lord, rolling a 1. So he gets -1 toughness, and then I don't roll high enough for the other spell, which was supposed to be that miasma thing, which makes me wound automatically when I hit. That would have been nice. Maybe I should have cast that first, but he had dispel dice to dispel it, so I tried to bait him a little bit, but no, yeah. No shooting this time, since my only shooting unit is in close combat. And then my Cave Goblin general, Mr.Gobbo is his name, of course. He challenges the Beast Lord to a duel. Neither one inflicts a single wound, because they're both defensively kitted characters. And the Minotaurs, they continue to grind me down. The Minotaurs, they continue to punch the Gobbos, killing the BSB. Mr.Gobbo fails his leadership 8 and bravely runs away. But, as you can see, escapes the Beast Lord and 8 Minotaur and the 3 Minotaurs. The Gobbos ended up running through the Gorgon and Nasher herd, losing only 1 Gobbo to dangerous terrain tests. So that could have been worse. He could have caught me then instead of just... Yeah, we'll see what happens. Beast herd turn 6. What happens now is he charges me with his centaurs. I have to make a flee move directly away from him. And I flee through the Nasher herd and the Gorgon again. And then I end my movement 1 inch behind the Gorgon, essentially taking my unit off the table, which means Mr.Gobbo lives to fight another day. That's what it counts as. Yeah, they're gone from the battle, but Mr.Gobbo lives in my story and in my mind. The Centaurs, they fail to redirect their charge into the Nasher herd, so that's also nice, so they don't get that rear charge. But the Nasher herd then gets charged by the Wildhorn herd, the Beast Lord and Minotaurs. The Wildhorns and the Minotaurs, they make it, but the Beast Lord doesn't. So this is pretty much the last stand of the Nasher herd. As you can see, it's completely surrounded. My last remaining unit that I can freely move. Yeah. And my opponent, he just shuffles his other units around just to get a better picture. He knows this is it. No magic was cast, as my opponent didn't want to risk a miscast and giving me 3 points. So, understandable. If I remember correctly, yeah. Now, the hand weapon and shield combo, as utilized by the Wildhorns and Minotaurs, that really hurts. Good thing my Nashers, they have initiative 4, which means I can strike before them. Perfect. Then I get to deal some serious damage before I go down in a boom, right? That was my plan. Think again. I can have 17 attacks hitting on a 5-up, 1 hit, 1 wound. I kill 1 Wildhorn. After that, I get annihilated. He kills everything. There's not even a single little Nasher left. Okay, we also made a mistake. He assumed that my Nashers had weapon skill 3, but they had weapon skill 4, so he wasn't really hitting me in a 3 up. He was hitting me in a 4 up, so maybe it shouldn't have been as many wounds, but I was dead anyways. I didn't want him to reroll the attacks. Yeah, that's alright with me. And then you could say, the end? No. I get my turn 6. Look at this. Madgit 1 moves further away from the enemy units. Madgit 2 moves further away from the enemy units. I'm not tabled. I'm just saying, I'm not tabled. I'm still alive. And the game is over. Looks like this. Yeah. Well, I made this battle report to bring some feedback to the 9th Age team. And I played with a fluffy army, so it's not competitive, and yada yada yada. But in the end, it was a crushing victory for the Beast Herd. If this was the old system, ETC system, it would be 20-0, but then it would probably blow the scale and make it maybe 30 minus 10. Great. Yeah, so key moments in the game. Number 1 is when my scrap wagon rolled a 666 instead of supporting my cave goblin war boss, essentially shafting him. That was a key moment. If I'd inflicted enough wounds on the Minotaurs, I might have been able to countercharge them with my giant in the following turn if they reformed to face my scrap wagon and war boss, as was my intention, as was my intended bait, because I think I might have been able to lure my opponent into this trap. And then when my left flank giant and dashers failed to break a small mongrel herd, and then my giant receiving 4 wounds in the second round of combat, with my left flank secure, my Nasher Dashers, I believe, and Giant would have been able to help me against the Wild Herd, I think. Forcing them to get in close with my Cave Goblin Horde, maybe. I might have been able to stress them a little bit. And then number 3 would be me accidentally opening the flank of my left Cave Goblin Horde. As you remember, where he could charge in with his Gorgon. That was a big mistake. Because he ended up destroying my horde just with that monster. And then the Gorgon surviving. Let's see. It survived 1 medkit. It survived 1 round with 55 up and then 6 up to wound shooting. And then it survived 1 round with 55 up to hit and 6 to wound shooting. It survived 2 strength 5 hits from the Nashers, and then it just killed an entire Cave Goblin Horde. It even got a wound from the Cave Goblin Horde, which it ate back, because it ate a goblin. It's definitely worth its points. I think that was the MVP of the game, if I had to pick one. And then point 5 would be not really getting anything out of my magic phase, mostly due to very poor rolls, and maybe I don't know how to utilize the Path of Shadows to its full potential, so maybe that could be a lot better, but I didn't roll very well. It was mostly 1s and 2s and 3s. It was pretty sad. And then I realized after the game that I forgot that right now, until they maybe nerf it, the Unruly gives Orc and Goblin Hordes the ability to roll 3d6 for their break tests, and then remove the highest. So maybe my Gobbos, they wouldn't have been such cowards if I just remembered to roll an extra d6, and then removing the highest. That was a big mistake on my part. That was maybe game changing. Yeah. If it's not gone before I play next time, that rule, I will have to remember that. That was why I put my goblins in hordes and not in a big bus. Yeah. That was stupid. And some other thoughts. I think the hand weapon and shield combo is very potent. And my Nasher herd, seriously, they were only able to kill 1 wild horde with so many attacks. At least I think frenzied units, they shouldn't be able to do that, like the Minotaurs and savage. Not savage. Sorry, Neander Orc brutes. They shouldn't be able to do that. I think they should be too busy trying to kill and rip and rend than trying to parry. That's what I believe. They should get the armor, of course, for taking shield, but not distracting. No. I think that's overpowered, maybe. Or maybe shield should be more expensive, or who knows. Yeah. And I don't know if I like the new shambolic rule on the Nasher wrecking team. I understand that it needed to go up in price. 15 points, that's alright. It was too cheap for what it did before, compared to 8th. And being more accident prone, I understand that. Failing a dangerous terrain test on a 1 and 2, instead of just a 1, that's good. But this unit, it causes panic in my other units when it dies. As if my army gets a shock when my suicide unit dies. Oh, what? That was unexpected. The suicide unit died. Yeah. Also, they now have a chance of running amok when rolling triple for movement, even before they have hit something. That makes them even more unreliable, if you also take that price increase in account. And there's no way for them to re-roll movement, so that makes them more likely to get a triple roll. It makes for some risky deployment zones, I believe. think about having your Nash on the side, and then rolling triple in turn 1, and your whole nice and neat army is lined up in one big line and just goes through your whole army, and not game over, but heavy casualties. Really sad. You have and you still have to pay 80 points for, or 85? No, 80 points for this model. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. It's not auto include, so that's good. But I don't know if it's too unreliable now for the points. Maybe 75 points would be better. I don't know. Or maybe not being able to run amok before it has really run amok, as long as it has crew. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I just need to get used to it, since I don't have those animosity tests anymore, and that was nice. That was really nice. A lot of my Goblin games, I've rolled double ones on crucial moments, essentially taking out my 2 Goblin hordes. That was not nice. That happened in, I think, the last game I played against Berghofer. And yeah, I gave my level 3 Shaman the Path of Shadows because the Blessing of the Mother Spider, it doesn't give my Gobbos the poison shooting love they deserve, I think. And I discovered this last night, and I wrote it on the forums, and I was shocked. What? I can't use poison shots with this poison spell anymore? Okay, I understand I can't use the banner for that. It's only 25 points, and it's only Forest Goblins, and yeah, that's never gonna happen. I think that the Gobbo poison should be back. So because I discovered this fact yesterday, I didn't get to change my list and redo it. So this poison build synergy thing never happened, and that was a loss for my team, I think. If you're still awake, then you have reached the end of my battle report. Thank you for watching it or listening, whatever you've been doing, and I hope you could use some of my experiences. Don't look for my videos to find a winning strategy, but rather what one should not do in a 9th Age game. I really enjoyed my first game ever, and I'm looking forward to learning more about the game. I think the community is fantastic, and the 9th Age team, they're doing a really, really good job, and they have my respect and my sincere gratitude. Now, take care of yourselves, and play some 9th Age games. Bye. Mr. Gobbo out.